Every day we wake up with a choice. A choice to stay the same or a choice to grow. A choice to live with purpose or just go through the motions. The difference between those who thrive and those who merely exist is not luck, talent, or intelligence. It's intention. It's the small, deliberate actions we take every single day that shape who we become. The problem is, most of us are too caught up in the busyness of life to focus on what really matters. We get lost in routines, distractions, and obligations, forgetting that real progress isn't about being busy, it's about being intentional. If we want to build a meaningful life, we have to work on it every single day. It doesn't happen by accident. It happens by design. And so, if there's one thing we must commit to, it's this. Start every morning by reminding yourself why you do what you do. Too many people wake up and go straight into reacting, checking emails, scrolling social media, rushing into their tasks. But purpose isn't something you stumble upon in between notifications. It's something you have to anchor yourself in every single day. Before the world gets a chance to tell you who you should be, remind yourself who you are. Remind yourself why you started, because if you don't take control of your own story, someone else will write it for you. Beyond that, one of the most important things you can work on every day is the ability to truly listen, not just to respond, but to understand. We live in a world where everyone is talking, but very few are actually listening. And yet, the most successful, influential, and impactful people all have one thing in common: they listen. They listen to their teams, their families, their customers. They listen not to prove a point, but to learn, to connect, to grow. When you listen, you make people feel seen. And when people feel seen, they trust you. They believe in you. They stand by you. And that is the foundation of leadership, of relationships, of success. But let's take it one step further. If you really want to make an impact, if you want to live a life of meaning, then you must work on something that seems simple but is often overlooked: small acts of kindness. Not because it looks good, not because it's expected, but because it's the right thing to do. Because the measure of a person is not found in what they achieve, but in how they treat others along the way. Every day you have the power to make someone's life a little better. A kind word, a moment of encouragement, a small gesture of support, it costs nothing but means everything. And what's remarkable is that kindness is contagious. It spreads. One small act can inspire another and another, creating ripples that extend further than you could ever imagine. Now, while kindness is powerful, it's not enough to just be good to others. You must also challenge yourself. Every day, in some way, you must step into discomfort. Growth never happens in the comfort zone. If everything feels easy, if everything feels familiar, you're not growing, you're just repeating. And repetition without growth is stagnation. So push yourself, try something new. Have the difficult conversation. Say yes to the opportunity that scares you. Because everything you want, everything that will make you stronger, wiser, and better is on the other side of fear. And finally, before the day ends, take time to reflect. Most people move so fast that they never stop to look back. But reflection is where wisdom is found. Ask yourself, what did I learn today? Who did I help? What did I do well? And what can I improve tomorrow? The people who win in life aren't the ones who avoid failure. They're the ones who learn from it. They're the ones who take their experiences, good and bad, and use them to grow. The truth is, success isn't about making one big dramatic change. It's about the small things. The things we do over and over until they become who we are. If you work on these things every day, if you start with purpose, if you listen with intention, if you show kindness, if you embrace discomfort, if you reflect, you won't just be productive, you'll be fulfilled. You won't just be successful, you'll be significant. Because at the end of the day, the real measure of our lives isn't what we have, but who we become. And who we become is simply a result of what we choose to work on every single day. Every day we wake up with an opportunity to grow, to improve, to become a little better than we were yesterday. But the truth is, growth doesn't happen by accident. It's not something that just shows up when we're ready for it. Growth is a choice. A deliberate decision to push forward, to challenge ourselves, to step outside the comfort of routine and into the space where real progress is made. And if we're serious about becoming the best versions of ourselves, there are things we must commit to working on every single day. One of the most powerful yet underrated skills we can develop is the ability to connect with people. Not on a surface level, but in a way that creates trust, understanding, and a sense of belonging. No matter what field you're in, no matter what your goals are, your ability to connect with others will determine your success. Because at the end of the day, people don't just follow ideas or strategies, they follow people. They follow those who make them feel valued, who inspire them, who genuinely care. And the only way to build that kind of connection is to be intentional about it every day. Take the time to ask how someone is doing and actually listen to the answer. Recognize people's efforts. Show appreciation. Relationships aren't built in a day, but they are built every day through the small moments of connection we choose to invest in. Beyond that, if there's one thing that separates those who succeed from those who struggle, it's consistency. Talent will only take you so far. Intelligence will only take you so far. But the ability to show up day after day, even when it's hard, even when no one is watching, that is what creates lasting success. The problem is most people get discouraged when they don't see immediate results. They quit too soon. They assume that if something isn't working right away, it must not be working at all. But the reality is, every great achievement is built on a foundation of consistency. The work you put in today might not show up tomorrow, but it will show up eventually. And the only way to see the results you want is to keep going, even when it feels like nothing is happening. But let's be clear, consistency isn't just about doing the work. It's also about doing the right work. Every day we are faced with distractions, temptations, and noise pulling us in 100 different directions. And if we're not careful, we end up being busy instead of being effective. That's why one of the most important things we must work on every day is focus. Not just working harder, but working smarter, learning to say no to what doesn't matter so we can say yes to what does. Because time is our most valuable resource, and once it's gone, we don't get it back. The most successful people in the world aren't the ones who do the most, they're the ones who focus on what matters most. Now, even with focus, even with consistency, there will be setbacks, there will be failures. And this is where most people stop. They take failure as a sign that they aren't good enough, that they should quit, that maybe success just isn't meant for them. But the truth is, failure isn't the enemy of success, it's part of the process. It's the greatest teacher we will ever have, but only if we're willing to learn from it. Every day we have to train ourselves to see failure differently, not as a reason to stop, but as an opportunity to improve. Not as proof that we're not capable, but as proof that we're trying, that we're pushing our limit, that we're growing. The people who succeed aren't the ones who avoid failure, they're the ones who refuse to be defined by it. And finally, no matter how much progress we make, no matter how much success we achieve, there is one thing we must never forget: gratitude. Every single day, we must take a moment to acknowledge what we have, to appreciate the journey, to recognize the people who support us along the way. Because the moment we stop appreciating what we have, we start chasing things that don't actually matter. We fall into the trap of always wanting more, always looking ahead, never satisfied. And while ambition is important, it should never come at the cost of gratitude. Because success without gratitude feels empty. But when we take the time to appreciate what we have, we find joy not just in the destination, but in the journey itself. At the end of the day, life is not about waiting for the perfect moment. It's about making the most of every moment we have. It's about choosing every single day to work on the things that truly matter. Because success is not built in a day, but it is built every day. Through the way we connect, the way we show up, the way we focus, the way we handle failure, and the way we appreciate what we have. If we commit to these things, if we work on them every day, we won't just achieve success, we will create a life of meaning, purpose, and impact. Every single day, we are given the same 24 hours. The question is, how do we use them? Some people drift through their days reacting to whatever comes their way, while others take control and move forward with purpose. The difference between those who grow and those who stay stuck isn't luck or intelligence, it's intention. It's about what we choose to work on, what we choose to prioritize, and how we choose to show up every single day. One of the most important things to work on daily is your mindset. Everything starts there. The way you think determines the way you act, and the way you act determines the results you get. If you wake up every morning expecting the day to be difficult, stressful, or frustrating, you'll find plenty of proof to confirm it. But if you train yourself to approach each day as an opportunity, as a chance to learn, to improve, to make an impact, your entire world shifts. The truth is, challenges will always be there. Obstacles will always show up. But you get to decide whether they define you or develop you. A strong mindset doesn't mean avoiding difficulties. It means facing them with confidence, knowing that every struggle is shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, and better equipped to handle what's ahead. Beyond mindset, another thing that separates high achievers from everyone else is discipline. Motivation is great, but it's unreliable. Some days you wake up inspired, ready to take on the world. Other days you feel tired, unmotivated, maybe even discouraged. And that's exactly why discipline is so important. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. It's showing up when no one's watching, putting in the work when it's hard, staying committed when progress is slow. The most successful people in the world don't rely on motivation, they rely on habits, systems, and discipline. Because they know that real success isn't about what you do once in a while, it's about what you do consistently. Now, discipline is crucial, but it must be balanced with something just as important, self-care. Too many people think success comes from pushing harder, working longer hours, and sacrificing everything to achieve their goals. But burnout is not a badge of honor. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Taking care of yourself physically, mentally, emotionally is not a sign of weakness. It's a requirement for long-term success. That means getting enough rest, fueling your body with good food, taking breaks when needed, and making time for the things that bring you joy. Because when you take care of yourself, you show up better in every area of your life. You have more energy, more clarity, and more resilience to handle challenges, alongside self-care. Another daily practice that changes everything is courage. Fear is one of the biggest things that hold people back, not because it's real, but because they let it control them. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of not being good enough. The truth is, fear never goes away. It will always be there, whispering doubts, making excuses, giving you reasons to stay in your comfort zone. But courage is not the absence of fear, it's moving forward in spite of it. It's taking action even when you're uncertain. It's trusting that you will figure things out along the way. Every day there will be moments where you can choose comfort or courage. And the people who grow, who succeed, who make an impact are the ones who choose courage again and again. And finally, one of the most valuable things to work on daily is perspective. Too often we get so caught up in our own struggles, our own challenges, that we forget to look at the bigger picture. We let small inconveniences ruin our mood. We allow setbacks to feel like the end of the world. But perspective changes everything. When you remind yourself of what truly matters, when you focus on what you can control, instead of what you can't, when you choose gratitude over frustration, life looks different. Problems don't disappear, but they become more manageable. Setbacks don't define you because you see them as part of the journey. The way you see the world determines how you experience it. So every day ask yourself, am I focusing on what's wrong? Or am I focusing on what's possible? The truth is, success is not one big moment. It's not about waiting for the perfect opportunity or the perfect time. It's about the little things, the way you think, the way you show up, the way you handle challenges, the way you take care of yourself, the way you choose courage over fear, the way you see the world. These things don't happen overnight, but they do happen daily. And when you commit to working on them, when you make them part of who you are, you won't just be successful, you'll be unstoppable. Every day we wake up with the opportunity to either move closer to the person we want to become or remain stuck where we are. The difference between those who grow and those who don't isn't luck or talent, it's what they choose to work on every single day. The reality is success isn't built overnight. It's built through the small, consistent actions we take, through the habits we develop, and through the mindset we cultivate. If we want to live a life of impact, we must be intentional about what we work on daily. One of the most important things to focus on is adaptability. The world is changing faster than ever. And the ability to adapt is what separates those who thrive from those who struggle. Too many people resist change because it's uncomfortable, because it requires effort, because it forces them to let go of what's familiar. But the truth is, change is inevitable. The question is not whether things will change, the question is whether we will change with them. Every day we must work on being open to new ideas, new perspectives, and new ways of doing things. Growth requires flexibility. The more we resist change, the harder life becomes. But when we embrace it, when we see change as an opportunity instead of a threat, we position ourselves to succeed no matter what comes our way. Beyond adaptability, another thing we must work on every day is our ability to take ownership. Too often, people fall into the trap of blaming their circumstances, their past, or other people for where they are in life. But the most successful and fulfilled people take full responsibility for their actions, their choices, and their results. They don't make excuses. They don't wait for someone else to fix things. They own their mistakes. They learn from them, and they move forward. Taking ownership means refusing to see yourself as a victim and instead seeing yourself as the author of your own story. It means recognizing that while you may not control everything that happens to you, you always control how you respond. And the way you respond is what determines your future. Another critical thing to work on daily is patience. We live in a world that values speed, instant results, instant gratification, instant success. But real success, real mastery, real fulfillment takes time. Too many people give up too soon because they don't see immediate progress. They expect results overnight and get frustrated when things take longer than they anticipated. But the people who achieve great things understand that patience is a superpower. They know that success is a long game, that every effort, no matter how small, compounds over time. Every day we must remind ourselves that the work we put in today might not show up tomorrow. But it will show up eventually if we stay patient, if we stay committed, if we refuse to quit. Alongside patience, another daily practice that leads to success is curiosity. The most successful people in the world never stop learning. They ask questions. They seek new knowledge. They stay open to new ideas. The moment we stop learning is the moment we stop growing. And the problem is, many people believe that once they finish school, their learning is done. But the reality is, education never stops. Every day is an opportunity to grow, to challenge our thinking, to expand our understanding of the world. When we cultivate curiosity, we stay ahead, we adapt faster, we become more creative, more innovative, more capable. The world belongs to those who never stop asking, what else can I learn? What else can I improve? What else can I explore? And finally, one of the most valuable things to work on every single day is resilience. Life will test you. There will be setbacks. There will be failures. There will be moments when things don't go as planned. And in those moments, the difference between those who keep going and those who give up comes down to one thing: resilience. Resilience is the ability to get back up when you fall. It's the ability to keep moving forward when things are difficult. It's the ability to take failure, rejection, and disappointment and use them as fuel instead of letting them break you. The strongest, most successful people aren't the ones who never fail. They're the ones who refuse to be defeated by failure. Every day we must train ourselves to see challenges not as roadblocks, but as opportunities to become stronger. Because the truth is, resilience isn't something you're born with, it's something you build. At the end of the day, success isn't about making one big move. It's about the small things we do consistently. The way we adapt to change. The way we take ownership of our lives. The way we practice patience. The way we keep learning. The way we develop resilience. These things don't happen overnight. They happen daily in the choices we make, in the habits we build, in the way we show up for ourselves and for others. If we commit to working on these things every day, we won't just grow, we'll become unstoppable. Every single day we are given the opportunity to take steps toward growth, fulfillment, and impact. But the truth is, most people don't take advantage of it. They go through the motions, letting their days be dictated by distractions, circumstances, or other people's expectations. The most successful and fulfilled individuals don't wait for the perfect conditions, they create them. They understand that greatness isn't built in a single moment of inspiration, but in the small, consistent actions taken every single day. If we want to build a life of meaning, there are things we must work on daily, not just when we feel like it, but as a commitment to the person we want to become. One of the most important things to work on is self-awareness. Too many people live their lives reacting to situations without truly understanding themselves, what drives them, what holds them back, what patterns they keep repeating. But without self-awareness, growth is impossible. Every day we must take time to reflect, to ask ourselves the hard questions. What am I doing well? Where do I need to improve? What patterns keep showing up in my life? The more we understand ourselves, the more control we have over our actions, our decisions, and our future. Because when we know our strengths, we can lean into them. When we know our weaknesses, we can work on them. And when we know our purpose, we can align our actions with what truly matters. Beyond self-awareness, another thing we must work on every day is our ability to take action. So many people have big dreams, great ideas, and incredible potential, but they never do anything with it. They wait. They hesitate. They overthink. And before they know it, months or even years have passed, and they're still in the same place. The truth is, action is the only thing that creates change. It's not about having all the answers, it's about having the courage to take the first step. No one is ever truly ready. No one has it all figured out. The people who succeed aren't the ones who wait for certainty, they're the ones who start anyway. Every day we must remind ourselves that progress comes from movement. If we're not taking action, we're standing still. And standing still is the fastest way to fall behind. Another thing we must work on daily is our energy. Because no matter how big our goals are, no matter how great our intentions, if we don't have the energy to execute, nothing happens. Energy is everything. It affects our focus, our discipline, our ability to push through challenges. And the mistake many people make is thinking that energy is something that just happens to them. But energy is something we create. It comes from the way we take care of our bodies, the way we fuel our minds, the way we manage stress, the way we surround ourselves with people who lift us up instead of drain us. Every day we must ask ourselves, am I doing things that energize me, or am I allowing things that drain me? Because when our energy is high, everything feels possible. But when it's low, even the simplest tasks feel overwhelming. And while energy drives us forward, another thing we must work on daily is integrity. The world is full of people who take shortcuts, who compromise their values for quick success, who say one thing and do another. But real, lasting success is built on trust in ourselves and trust from others. Integrity means doing what's right, even when it's hard. It means keeping our word, following through on commitments, and holding ourselves to a higher standard. Every day we have a choice to cut corners or to stand by our principles, and the people who truly win in the long run are the ones who choose integrity every time. Because reputation can open doors, but character is what keeps them open. And finally, if there's one thing we must commit to working on every day, it's gratitude. Because no matter how much we achieve, no matter how much success we gain, if we don't appreciate what we have, we will always feel like something is missing. Too many people spend their lives chasing more success, more money, more recognition, only to realize that none of it makes them happy if they don't take the time to appreciate what's already in front of them. Gratitude isn't just about saying thank you, it's about shifting our perspective. It's about training ourselves to focus on what's good instead of what's lacking. It's about recognizing that joy isn't something we find in the future, it's something we create in the present. When we practice gratitude daily, we stop waiting for happiness and start experiencing it now. At the end of the day, success, fulfillment, and impact don't come from grand gestures or overnight transformations. They come from the small, intentional things we choose to work on every single day. The way we understand ourselves, the way we take action, the way we manage our energy, the way we hold ourselves accountable, the way we choose gratitude over dissatisfaction. These are not things we master in a day, they are things we commit to day after day until they become who we are. And when we do that, we don't just change our lives, we change the lives of those around us. Because the best version of ourselves isn't something we stumble upon, it's something we build one day at a time.